Okay, let's unpack this. I want you to picture a specific type of person. We all know one. You're at a chaotic airport or maybe a high-stakes networking event where everyone is sweating through their shirts or even just, a really tense first day at a new job.
Right. High-stress environments.
Exactly. And amidst all that stress, there is this one person who just glides.
The glider. I know exactly the type. They just seem immune to the chaos.
They are. They walk up to the counter, and suddenly the grumpy agent is smiling. They walk into a meeting room, and the tension drops 5 degrees.
It's like they have a cheat code for reality. They just navigate these logistical nightmares with zero effort.
And usually we look at those people and we think, well, good for them. They were born with charisma. They have the it factor.
We assume it's a personality trait, like having blue eyes or being tall. You either have it or you don't.
Exactly. But today, we are going to challenge that assumption. We have a stack of sources here that suggests this gliding capability isn't magic. It is a system. It is a set of very specific, repeatable protocols.
And the source material for this is, it's actually quite surprising. It's not what you'd expect.
It really isn't. We are looking at a comprehensive set of transcripts from a series called Easy English Practice. Now, stick with me here.
I know, it sounds like homework.
It does. At first glance, you look at this and think, okay, this is a language lesson. This is dialogue practice for people learning English. And on the surface, it is. It's people saying hello, ordering lunch, setting up meetings.
But that is just the surface level. When you dig in, it's so much more.
Right. Because when we actually sat down and analyzed these scripts, when we looked at the interactions of the main character, a guy named Daniel Smith, we realized we weren't looking at a grammar textbook. We were looking at a master class in what I'm calling functional fluency.
Functional fluency is the perfect term for it, because in the academic world, or even in the language learning world, we usually obsess over academic fluency.
Sure, yeah. Big words, complex sentences.
Exactly. How big is your vocabulary? Is your grammar 100% perfect? Can you quote Shakespeare? But you can have all of that and still be a complete disaster in a social situation.
Oh, absolutely. I know plenty of people with PhDs who can't order a coffee without making it awkward for everyone involved.
Exactly. Functional fluency is different. It's a sort of social physics. It's understanding the hidden mechanics that, govern how successful interactions happen between human beings.
And this character, Daniel Smith, he is basically a laboratory-controlled model of how to navigate the professional and social world with zero friction.
Zero friction. That's the goal, isn't it?
It's the absolute goal. Yeah. So our mission for this deep dive is to deconstruct Daniel. We're going to treat him like a specimen. We're going to break down his specific interactions from the moment he walks into a foreign office to how he manages the project to how he reconnects with an old friend. We want to find the hidden gears that make him so effective.
And we aren't just looking at what he does. We are going to look at how he got there. Because the source material actually has a section that kind of breaks the fourth wall.
It does, yeah.
It reveals the learning methodology, the shadowing technique, the 20-minute rule that Daniel used to build this confidence. Because, spoiler alert, the text is explicit that Daniel wasn't always this smooth. He used to be a nervous wreck.
So this is a roadmap. If you've ever felt awkward in a meeting or overwhelmed by a new skill or just unable to connect with people the way you want to, this deep dive is for you. Let's jump right in.
Let's do it.
Part 1. The anatomy of a professional arrival.
Okay, let's set the scene.
So, Daniel Smith arrives at a company headquarters. Context clues suggest he's in a foreign country, or at least a different city. He's from London. He's there to meet a contact named Laura Brown. Now stop right there. Think about the last time you walked into a strange office building.
Oh, it's a high anxiety moment. It really is. You don't know where to stand. You don't know if you're late. You're worried your ID badge won't work. There's this immediate sense of being an outsider.
The receptionist anxiety.
Right?
It's a real thing. Most people, when they approach that desk, they're either too aggressive because they are nervous.
I need to see Laura. Demanding.
Exactly. Or there's the opposite. They're mumbling and looking at their shoes, all apologetic. But Daniel creates what I want to call a politeness chain.
I love that concept. If you look at the transcript, it's very granular. He doesn't just launch into his request. He starts with, "Excuse me."
A simple 2-word buffer.
And then he waits. He gives her a beat to acknowledge him, then "Good morning." Then the receptionist responds, "How can I help you?" And only then does he say, "Can I meet her, please?"
It seems so slow when you break it down like that, almost painfully slow.
It is slow, and that's the whole point. It's a technique called phatic communication. These are words that don't convey data. Good morning doesn't actually tell you anything about the morning.
Right, it's not a weather report.
No, but they convey social safety. He is signaling deference. He is signaling, I am not a threat. I am not in a panic. I respect that you are the gatekeeper here.
And you see it pay off immediately. The receptionist engages with him. She asks for his name. She checks the system. But then we hit the classic hurdle, the waiting game. Laura isn't down yet. The receptionist says, please wait here.
This is where the amateur crumbles. This is where you pull out your phone and start doom scrolling Instagram because you feel awkward sitting in a lobby chair. You close yourself off completely.
Oh, 100%.
Heck.
Create that little digital shield around yourself.
Because Daniel stays present. And the receptionist, because he's been so pleasant, offers him a lifeline. She asks, would you like a glass of water?
And Daniel says, yes, please. Now, I want to pause on this because I think a lot of people, myself included, trying to be polite would say, no, I'm fine. Don't trouble yourself.
That's the default polite response, isn't it? To refuse.
It is. I don't want to be a bother.
But here is the expert insight. Refusing hospitality can actually create a subconscious barrier. It's a rejection, however small. In sociology, we talk about the gift exchange.
The gift exchange.
Okay. The host offers something, water, coffee, whatever, to establish their role as the provider, as the person in charge of the space. By accepting it, Daniel validates her role. He says, yes, please, and thank you very much. He allows her to take care of him. That makes him a good guest.
That is fascinating. So by trying to be low maintenance and saying no, you might actually be making things colder, more transactional.
Exactly. You're rejecting the social contract. By accepting the water, Daniel creates a positive feedback loop. And while he's drinking that water, notice the small talk that happens. The receptionist asks, are you working in London?
And Daniel's answer is key. He says, yes, I work in a small company.
Small company. I circled that 3 times in my notes. It seems so throwaway, but it's brilliant.
Why? Why is that so important?
Because he's coming from London. To many places in the world, London signifies big business, finance, intimidation. He could have played that up. He could have said, yes, I work for a premier consultancy in the financial district.
You're trying to sound important, puffing his chest out a bit.
Right. But that raises the defenses. It creates an us versus them dynamic. By saying small company, he uses a tactic called humility signaling. He makes himself approachable. He's just a guy from a small company drinking his water. He is lowering the stakes for everyone in the room.
So by the time Laura Brown, the actual business contact, walks into the lobby, Daniel has already won over the gatekeeper and established himself as a calm, humble, non-threatening presence.
He has infiltrated the perimeter successfully. He's already part of the in-group before the meeting has even started.
So then Laura arrives, and we immediately shift into what the source text provides as the travel talk script. It feels almost ritualistic. How was your trip? How was the flight?
It is a ritual. We call it synchronization. You cannot just walk up to someone you haven't seen in months and say, okay, let's open the spreadsheet. The human brain needs a ramp up, period.
You have to warm up the engines.
You have to align your physical realities. We need to check in on the biological status of the other person. Are they tired? Are they hungry? Did they have a stressful journey?
And Daniel's answers here are a masterclass in emotional regulation. Laura asks about the flight. Daniel says it was great, but, and here's a fact check from the text, my flight was late by 1 hour.
Notice what he doesn't do. He doesn't complain. He doesn't say, oh my God, it was a nightmare. The pilot was an idiot. We sat on the tarmac for 40 minutes.
Which is what most of us would do. We'd vent.
We would, but he just states it as a data point.
Yep.
Late by 1 hour. He strips the drama out of it.
Why is it so effective?
Because if you start a business interaction with a complaint, you are dumping negative energy into the relationship before it has even started. You are signaling that you are volatile, that you're a complainer. By stating it neutrally, Daniel signals that he is stable. He can handle a minor delay. It's not a crisis.
But he's not a robot. He's not emotionless. Laura asks if he's tired. And he admits, a little, but I feel fine.
That honesty is crucial. If he said, no, I have infinite energy, ready to go, it feels fake. It feels like a sales pitch. A little builds rapport because it's true. It's relatable.
And it allows Laura to feel empathy.
Yes. And critically, it gives Laura a problem she can solve. He's a little tired. What can she do about that?
Which leads to the universal solution for all business fatigue.
Coffee, the great equalizer.
Laura says, do you want some coffee? Daniel says, yes, I would like coffee. And then she says, And I think this is the pivot point of the whole arrival. Let's get coffee in the office.
This is a classic state change. Think about the geography here. The lobby is public space. It's outside. It's formal. By inviting him to the coffee machine inside the office, Laura is crossing a threshold.
It's a symbolic gesture.
A huge one. She is inviting him into the inner sanctum. It changes the relationship from visitor and host to colleague and colleague.
That's a great way to put it.
Precisely. Now they're standing next to each other, engaging in a shared ritual brewing coffee using the same resources. It effectively simulates being on the same team before they have actually done any work.
If they had stayed in the lobby, the meeting would have been stiff. But by moving to the kitchen,
By moving to the kitchen, the meeting becomes collaborative, the whole dynamic shifts.
and while that coffee is brewing, they handle the last bit of logistics. They establish the parameters. They clarify that Daniel is staying for 3 days.
Which sets the clock.
Yeah.
Everyone knows the constraints now. We have 72 hours, no ambiguity.
And they mention this is his second visit.
That establishes context. It reminds both of them that there is a history here. We aren't starting from zero. It cuts through the initial awkwardness.
So Daniel has successfully arrived. He has charmed the receptionist, synchronized with his handler, caffeinated, and established the timeline. The friction is at 0. Now we move to section 2. The real work begins.
Right. The project management masterclass.
And this is where the source material shifts gears. We move from polite guest to efficient operator. And interestingly enough, it all starts with lunch.
It always comes back to food, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah.
Laura asks him about lunch. She mentions office food.
Yeah.
And her description is very specific. She calls it simple and good. Now pause again. Daniel is the guest. He's from London. He could easily say, hey, I heard about this amazing steakhouse 3 blocks away. Let's go there.
And honestly, a lot of people would. They treat business travel as culinary tourism on the company's dime. But look at what Daniel chooses.
He chooses rice and vegetables.
Yes.
At the office canteen,
The most utilitarian meal imaginable. Rice and vegetables.
Why? I mean, is he just boring? Is that what this is?
No. He's strategic. Think about the constraints we just established. He is only there for 3 days. The deadline is next Friday.
Time is short.
Exactly. Going out to a restaurant is a production. It takes, 2 hours? You have to travel, you have to order, wait for the food, eat, pay, travel back. And then you have the food coma.
The post-steak slump.
I know it well.
It kills the momentum of the day. By choosing the office food, specifically simple food, Daniel is minimizing decision fatigue. He's not wasting mental energy on where to eat.
And he's signaling something to Laura, isn't he?
A huge signal. He's saying, I'm here to work. I respect your time. Let's keep the engine running. It's a demonstration of focus and discipline.
It's a discipline. And that word simple, it starts to pop up everywhere in this section. It's like a mantra for him. They finish their rice and vegetables. They go to the meeting room to discuss the project. And Daniel lays out his plan. He says explicitly, I will use simple software.
I love this detail. I really do. Because in the corporate world, there is a massive temptation to do the opposite, to use complex software.
Oh, for sure. You want to look smart. You want to use the proprietary tool that has AI integration and creates 4D charts. You want to justify your billing rate.
Look at my dashboard. It's so complicated. It must be genius. But Daniel goes the other way. Simple software. Why? Because in a cross-cultural environment or on a short-term project, complexity is a single point of failure.
Right. If he uses some obscure tool that Laura's team doesn't have, the project dies the second he gets on the plane to go home.
Or if the report is too dense, the manager won't read it. Laura even warns him later. She says, the manager wants clear results. Please keep your work simple.
Clear results. That's the goal. Complexity obscures results. Simplicity reveals them.
It reminds me of Gall's law in systems engineering.
Gall's law?
The idea that a complex system that works is invariably found to have evolved from a simple system that worked. You cannot start with complexity. You have to start with simple. Daniel knows this instinctively. He is prioritizing frictionless collaboration over looking like a tech wizard.
And you see that efficiency in how they divide the labor. It's almost brutal in its brevity. Daniel just says, I will do the first part. Laura says, I'll do the second part. And that's it. Done.
No agonizing over roles, no turf wars,
Yeah.
just clarity. Here's your box, here's my box, let's go.
And then the communication loop. This is the part that I think every manager listening should tattoo on their forehead.
Oh, this is the good stuff.
They agree to share updates every day. It's good. But then they do something incredibly specific. Before they leave that meeting room, they set the next meeting. Wednesday at 10:00 a.m.
That is the killer app of meeting hygiene. It is so powerful.
Why is that so important? I mean, it seems like a small detail.
Because the alternative is the void. If you end a meeting with a vague, okay, let's catch up later this week, you've just created a homework assignment for everyone.
Right. Now you have to start an email chain.
Now you have to email, are you free Thursday? No, Thursday's bad. How about Friday? Friday morning. It creates administrative drag. It's friction.
It's email tag. It's the worst game on earth.
By saying Wednesday at 10 a.m., right there in the room, they lock it in. The container for the project is built. They don't have to think about when they will talk. They just have to do the work until they talk. It clears up so much mental space.
And the vibe in that room,
Yeah.
it's relentlessly positive. They actually say things like, I feel confident about this project.
Me too. We are a good team.
I mean, to a cynical ear, it might sound a bit cheesy. We are a good team. Who actually says that out loud?
Right. It sounds like something from a corporate poster. But in a second language environment or a new partnership, explicit affirmation builds psychological safety. It reinforces the alliance.
It's verbalizing the subtext.
It's telling the other person, I am not judging you, I am working with you. It's a small thing that pays huge dividends in trust.
So the project is on rails. Simple tools, clear roles, scheduled check-ins. Daniel is crushing the work. But humans are not just work machines. We are social animals. And Daniel steps out of that meeting room and runs right into a curveball.
Section 3, the social pivot, the unexpected encounter.
He runs into Michael, guy he went to college with, and the text is specific. They haven't seen each other in 2 years.
Now think about the danger here. This is a high-risk interaction socially. We've all been there. You see an old friend, you stop in the hallway, you have that awkward, stilted conversation.
Oh, it's the worst. Hey, how are you? Good, you look good, thanks. And then you just stand there staring at each other, waiting for it to end.
The awkward silence. And usually it ends with the fake plan.
We should grab coffee sometime.
And sometime means never. It's a polite lie we tell to escape the awkwardness.
But Daniel and Michael don't do that. I want to break down how they handle this reunion, because it's surprisingly structural. It's a masterclass.
First, they acknowledge the history. They don't just pretend it's a normal day. They say, do you remember our college days? We studied together a lot.
So they validate the bond.
They anchor the relationship in the past so they can bridge it to the present. It's like saying, our connection is real, it has history.
But they don't get stuck in the nostalgia. They don't spend 10 minutes talking about that one crazy party. They pivot immediately to the now. Daniel asks, which team are you in? Michael says, IT team. Then Daniel asks a very specific, value-laden question. Do you work long hours?
That is a brilliant diagnostic question. It's so much better than how's work.
Right, which just gets you a fine.
Do you work long hours? Cuts
Yeah.
past the small talk and gets to the lifestyle. It's probing for values. Michael says, sometimes, but not every day. And then they both agree. Work-life balance is important.
Boom, value alignment. In the space of 30 seconds, they just confirmed they are still on the same wavelength. They still view the world the same way.
Imagine if Michael had said, I work 20 hours a day and I love the grind. And Daniel wants balance. They might realize they don't have much in common anymore. The conversation would probably die there.
But once that alignment is confirmed, the ask becomes safe. Daniel doesn't do the fake plan. He asks, are you free this evening?
It's binary, yes or no, no wiggle room.
Michael says yes, and then, and this is the key, they set a specific time. Let's meet at 6:00 p.m.
Specificity drives action.
Say that again.
Specificity drives action. Sometimes is fancy. 6:00 p.m. is a commitment. By locking it in for that same day, they capitalize on the momentum of the chance encounter. They turn a coincidence into a genuine connection.
But Daniel isn't done. He's managed the office, he's managed the friend, now he manages the city itself. We have another scene in the source text where Daniel switches personas again.
He's a chameleon.
He is. He's not the professional, he's not the college buddy, he is the tourist. And he's talking to a local named Jake.
This interaction stood out to me because Daniel admits something vulnerable. He tells Jake, I travel alone, and Jake calls it brave.
Which it is. Solo travel requires a high level of self-efficacy, but Daniel frames it beautifully. He doesn't say, I'm lonely. He says, I like meeting new people.
He reframes the solitude as an opportunity for connection. He isn't lonely, he's available, he's open.
And he uses this interaction to gather intel. This is what I call human heuristics. He could just look at TripAdvisor or Google Maps. But he asks Jake. He asks a person.
He leverages local knowledge. And look at the quality of the data he gets. It's so much richer. He asks about sites. Jake tells him about the old buildings and the museum, but he gives him logistics. It is 10 minutes away, walking distance.
That is actionable. TripAdvisor doesn't always tell you how the walk feels. A local does. Is it uphill? Is it through a nice park?
And the food. Oh, the food part is my favorite. Daniel asks for a recommendation. He doesn't just ask what's good. He gets pointed to a specific cafe and a specific dish. The city special.
The city special.
Yeah.
It sounds like a video game power-up.
It basically is. It implies insider knowledge. If you walk in and order the city special, you aren't a tourist anymore. You're an initiate. You're in the know.
My favorite part of this intel gathering, though, is the timing. Daniel asks such a smart question. What is the best time to visit?
That is the difference between a tourist and a traveler. A tourist goes whenever the bus drops them off. A traveler asks, when is it best?
And Jake tells him, in the evening. The lights look beautiful then.
That one question upgrades Daniel's entire experience. Instead of seeing a gray building at noon with a bunch of other tourists, he sees a beautifully lit up monument at 8 p.m., all because he asked one simple, open-ended question.
It's information arbitrage. He uses the locals' lifetime of experience to optimize his own 24 hours.
That's a great way to think about it.
So let's pause and look at the scoreboard. We've seen Daniel navigate the reception with a politeness chain. We've seen him manage a project with simple software and clear deadlines. We've seen him reconnect with a friend using specific scheduling. And we've seen him hack the city tourism by asking locals for logistics.
It's an impressive run, incredibly impressive.
But you have to ask yourself, how? How is he this good? Because we alluded to this at the beginning. The source material implies that English is not Daniel's first language. He is operating in a second language, in a foreign culture.
That adds a whole other layer of difficulty. The cognitive load of doing all this in a second language is massive. He's translating in his head, he's reading cultural cues, he's managing his own anxiety on top of everything else.
And this brings us to the final and, I think, most important part of our deep dive. Section 4, the meta-analysis. The source material actually breaks down how Daniel built this capacity.
This is the secret sauce.
Yeah.
This is the part that reveals that Daniel wasn't born with this confidence. He built it. He engineered it.
The text includes a dialogue where the characters discuss their learning journey. And they start with the psychology, the fear. Daniel admits, I remember you were shy to speak. And the other character says, I was very nervous.
I think every listener can relate to that. The imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
The fear of looking stupid. In linguistics, we have a specific name for this. It's called the affective filter.
The affective filter. That sounds technical. Break that down for us.
It's a hypothesis proposed by the linguist Stephen Krashen. Basically, affect relates to emotion and anxiety. Imagine a filter or a wall in your brain.
Okay.
If your anxiety level is high, if you are terrified of making a mistake, your filter goes up. It becomes a thick wall. When the filter is up, input language, information, social cues, it just bounces off. It doesn't reach the part of the brain that acquires language.
So you could be physically present in a situation, but your brain is closed for business.
You're paralyzed. Your brain literally shuts the door. You can be in an immersion environment for years, but if you are terrified, you won't learn a thing. To learn, you have to lower the filter. You have to relax.
So how did Daniel lower his filter? What was the trick?
The text says it very plainly. Mistakes help us learn. He accepted imperfection. This is a cognitive reframing. It's a mindset shift.
So instead of a mistake being a failure.
Instead of viewing a mistake as a failure, oh no, I used the wrong verb, I'm an idiot, he views it as data. Oh, that was the wrong verb. Okay, noted. He says, speaking without fear helped me. He gave himself permission to be a beginner.
Okay, so mindset is step 1. I am allowed to suck at this for a while.
Yeah.
But you can't just mindset your way to fluency. You need tactics. You need a gym routine for your brain. And the source gives us a specific protocol.
They call it a specific number, and it's shockingly small. It's the 20-minute rule.
About 20 minutes a day.
Notice what it's not. It's not 2 hours every Saturday. It's not cram for 5 hours before the trip. It is 20 minutes every single day.
Consistency over intensity.
It's the compound interest of skill acquisition. The brain learns through spaced repetition. If you practice for 5 hours once a week, you forget, 80% of it by the next week.
Oh, at least.
If you practice 20 minutes a day, you keep the neural pathways active. It's about keeping the engine warm, not letting it go cold.
But what are they doing for those 20 minutes? They aren't just reading a textbook. They mention a very specific technique called shadowing.
This is the gold standard for accent and flow. Shadowing is where you listen to a native speaker. In this case, the source mentions the videos from the Easy English Practice series, and you speak along with them, almost simultaneously.
Like a delay pedal on a guitar. Or like trying to sing along to a song you don't fully know yet.
That's a great analogy. You aren't waiting for them to finish the sentence and then repeating. You are right on their heels. You're trying to match their exact intonation, their pauses, their rhythm, their emotion.
The text says they copy the accent. It sounds almost like acting practice.
It is. It's physical. Language is a physical sport. Your tongue, your lips, your diaphragm, they all have to learn the choreography. Most people learn with their eyes by reading. Shadowing forces you to learn with your ears and your mouth. It bypasses the analytical brain and trains the physical muscle memory.
And Daniel mentions another habit that I love because it sounds so silly. He says, I talk to myself in English. It feels funny but helpful.
Self-talk. It's the rehearsal studio. It's the batting cage for conversation.
It feels funny. I bet it does. Walking around your kitchen narrating your breakfast. I am now toasting the bread. The butter is cold.
It feels ridiculous. But think about what it achieves. It allows you to retrieve words and formulate sentences in a zero-stakes environment. No one is judging you. You can practice asking for that glass of water or that simple report 50 times in the shower before you have to say it to the receptionist.
So it lowers the cognitive load for when the real moment comes. You're not searching for the words for the first time.
Exactly. By the time Daniel is standing in front of Laura, he has already had that conversation in his head 10 times. He isn't improvising. He is performing a rehearsed script.
He also mentions a critical shift in his internal processing. This seems like the final boss of language learning. He says, I tried to think in English.
That is the holy grail of fluency, moving from translation to thinking.
What's the difference neurologically? What's happening there?
When you translate, there's a lag, a big one. You hear the input, how are you? Your brain translates it to your native language. You formulate an answer in your native language, you translate it back to English, then you speak. That loop takes time and energy. It creates friction.
That's the buffering phase, that little pause where you can see the wheels turning.
Right. But when you think in the target language, you remove the middleman. The process is input, processing output, all in English. That is where the sensation of gliding comes from. That is how Daniel can banter about the weather and coffee without pausing. He isn't translating anymore.
And the specific resource they credit for all this is that channel, Easy English Practice. They watch one video in the morning, one in the evening.
Bookending the day. It keeps the immersion going. And they know that the speakers speak slowly and clearly. This is another correction concept. Comprehensible input. If the input is too fast, it's just noise. If it's just slightly above your level but slow enough to grasp, that is the sweet zone for learning. That's where growth happens.
So if we look at Daniel Smith, the man, the myth, the legend, he is really a construct of these habits. He isn't magic. He is the end result of 20 minutes a day of shadowing, of self-talk, and of a refusal to let the fear of mistakes stop him.
That's it. He built the machine that allows him to function so smoothly. He engineered his own confidence from the ground up.
It's really empowering when you look at it that way. Because this functional fluency we've been talking about, it isn't some gift bestowed by the gods on a chosen few. It's a protocol.
It is accessible to anyone. The barrier isn't intelligence. The barrier is ego. Are you willing to sound silly talking to yourself? And consistency. Can you do the 20 minutes even when you're tired and you don't want to?
I want to circle back to one line from the text that I think summarizes the whole philosophy here. Enjoyment makes learning easy.
That connects back to the local Jake and the city special, doesn't it? Daniel didn't view the trip as a test he had to pass. He viewed it as an exploration. I like meeting new people. Curiosity drives the engine.
If you are curious, the effective filter drops.
It plummets, and the learning rushes in. Because you're not trying to be perfect, you're just trying to understand.
So let's bring this all together for you listening. We've unpacked Daniel's strategy. We've seen the power of the politeness chain at reception asking for water to validate the host. We've seen the power of simplicity in project management, rice and vegetables, simple software.
We've seen the power of specificity in social planning 6 p.m. sharp, not sometime.
And we've seen the shadowing and 20-minute habits that actually built the skill in the first place.
It's a complete system. From mindset to tactics.
So the question for you, listening right now, is, where is the friction in your life? Where are you making things harder than they need to be?
That's the real question.
Are you making things too complex? Are you trying to use the fancy software when the simple one will do? Are you leaving meetings without setting the next date, creating a cloud of email chaos for yourself and everyone else.
And maybe the biggest one. Are you letting the fear of making a mistake keep you from speaking up? Because as Daniel proved, people don't want perfection. Laura didn't care if his grammar was perfect. She cared that the report was simple and on time.
They want connection. They want to know if you want coffee. They want to know if you want rice and vegetables.
Simple as that. It's rarely as complicated as we make it in our heads.
So here is your challenge for the week. Find your city special. Go make a specific plan for 6 p.m. with that friend you've been meaning to catch up with. And maybe, just maybe, spend 20 minutes talking to yourself in the mirror today.
Just make sure the door's locked so your family doesn't worry about you.
Or do it loud and proud. Tell them, I am practicing my functional fluency. Thanks for diving in with us.
See you next time.